Were you concerned when you saw the testimony last week from your officials that indicated that no one person read the contract front to back before that was signed?
Well, first and foremost, I think we have to put things in context. If you look actually at what was discussed and what my deputy minister at the time said, is that he was not involved in the redaction of the contract, nor was I, of course, because we were not in our positions at the time. As you know, the contract was signed some years ago, and you were not in your position neither. Now, what is clear is we both since then read the contract, and of course I can answer any questions about that.
When was it that you read the contract?
Well, when the issue...
Was it last week? Was it 2 years ago?
Obviously,
it wasn't 2 years ago because you weren't there, but when did you read it?
So when the issue of Stellantis became really important, which was around October 15...
So you read it?
Of course I read that contract because we got a 24 hours heads up from the global CEO saying that they were moving the Brampton Jeep model, well, the Jeep Compass model,
right,
to the U.S. And we thought that that was completely unacceptable. So we got to it, and we found very quickly how to make sure that Stellantis was on the hook.
The testimony last week was that during the contract negotiations, no single person had a view on that contract cover to cover. Does that concern you?
To be frank, it doesn't.
Well, that was the...
No, but like, you can't negotiate a contract without reading it. That doesn't make sense. Like, just listen to what you're saying.
I don't know. The deputy minister said that the individuals involved would not have had full view of the contract. That was the testimony.
There were many contracts that were involved, all of those that are already, not only are they available right now, Adam, but they were available 2 years ago, and the opposition, so basically the Conservative Party, had access to it. And you guys also read the contract.
I think they're just getting
so there's nothing new here.
That's okay. So now that you've read the contract, that's fine. You've read the contract. Were you concerned that the jobs guarantee in that contract, or are you satisfied with the jobs guarantee in the contract? Is it anything less than 100% of Stellantis' footprint at the contract was signed?
See, you know what was my reaction when we got the news from Stellantis? My reaction was, we can't open that floodgate of basically our automakers leaving the country. That was my reaction. And my reaction was also to make sure that everybody around this table is one Team Canada, because we're all fighting for the 125,000 jobs in the auto sector. And so I was in fighting mode, and I was finding how to make sure that we would make Stellantis on the hook. What was clear in that contract is that the investments in the battery plants, which are super important, which we stand for and will continue to defend, were linked to the Brampton facility.
Okay.
And that's why we say it's on the hook.
On October 21st, you said in the House, the opposition on the committee will have access to the contracts. They will discover that we indeed negotiated well. Do you recall saying that?
I stand by it.
Okay. The jobs guarantee in the contract, is it for anything less than 100% of Stellantis' footprint at the time the contracts were signed?
See, what is happening is when you're dealing with an automaker, you know that there will be...
Minister, you're negotiating a contract.
Wait. I didn't negotiate the contract, but what I can tell you is that when you look at an automaker over a 10, 15-year period, you know that there will be changes in models. And sometimes during that time, that lifespan, there will be time where basically there's retooling and that basically people are put on pause to then, of course, being rehired. And that is all negotiated with Unifor. That is all negotiated with the unions. And so that is why it was really, really important to have a job number. But what was most important, Adam, and that's my last point, it was to link the protection of Brampton. Because there was a preoccupation at the time, and I wasn't there, you weren't there, but there was a preoccupation to make sure that we would protect the jobs at Brampton.
Is the jobs guarantee in the contract for less than 100% of Stellantis' footprint at the time the contracts were signed?
Listen, what I can tell you is that there's a job guarantee, and what I can tell you also
is that a job guarantee, but it's for less than 100%.
For once, there was a link between the new funding that was given to create new jobs in Windsor to the Brampton plant.
So for anything
and
less,
that was really, really important because when you look at it, and we learned from 2009 what the Conservatives did at the time. At the time, there was no job guarantee. So we made sure that that was the case.
Are there executive compensation restrictions like there were in 2009? Was there equity given to the government like there was in 2009? I'm sorry, Minister, but you can't compare those. And plus, that was 15 years ago.
Well, no, I think that they were in
15 years ago.
You are comparing
and you've negotiated,
the same
your
type
government
of
negotiated.
Mr. Chair, the translation is not good because we have
Minister,
two persons in the
your
same
government
time.
negotiated. It sounds like your government negotiated a $15 billion corporate subsidy to Stellantis without 100% jobs guarantee for the footprint of Stellantis at that time.
I think you're mixing up
That's what it
things.
sounds like.
To be frank, you're mixing up things, okay?
So
in 2009,
will you say what the
please,
percent of the, will you say
Madam
what the
Chair,
percentage?
I just want to be able to answer.
Let her finish because your time is up, and I want everybody to have a shot here today.
Yeah, of course.
Minister?
In 2009, when you negotiated and shook hands with GM and Chrysler at the time, there was no job guarantees, and following that, the Oshawa plant was closed for GM. The Windsor plant for GM was closed. The Ford assembly plant following that was closed, and the Orion bus assembly plant in Mississauga was closed. It was devastation. And we were the first government to bring back jobs in the auto sector because we were able to create around 3,000 jobs in Windsor, and we were able to create around 3,000 jobs in St. Thomas.
Was good?
So it was really good investments.